A lot of us believe that being hard on ourselves after a setback will somehow make us more disciplined. But the research says exactly the opposite. Welcome to your daily hit of grace and grit, your quick dose of inspiration to kickstart your day. I'm Courtney Townley, and here is today's hit. Dr. Christine Neff, who I mentioned in my book, The Consistency Code, she is a professor of psychology at the University of Texas, and she has spent her entire career studying self-compassion. And her findings consistently challenge one of the most deeply held beliefs in health and wellness culture, which is that self-criticism is a useful motivational tool. Look, I think it's great to critique yourself in honest ways, but you can critique and be compassionate. It's not either or. And I think if you make it either or, you are going to suffer tremendous consequences. Number one, you're not going to enjoy your journey, and your journey is going to be so much more of a struggle because of not applying the self-compassion piece. And I hear this come up a lot in client conversations where I talk a client through being more compassionate with herself, and there's often pushback. Courtney, if I'm nice to myself, if I accept this piece of myself, if I talk to myself in a way that I would a dear friend, I'm not going to do the work. Which is interesting because Kristen Neff's research shows that people high in self-compassion are not less motivated or less accountable than those who are hard on themselves. They are more motivated, more willing to admit mistakes, more open to feedback, and significantly more likely to try again after failure. I mean, think about it. Like if you are around kids or you have children, when they mess up, if you berate them, you think they want to try again? Of course not. But if you just let them know that it's no big deal, everyone makes mistakes, like mistakes are just part of practice, it's how we get better. If they got that kind of pep talk, of course, they're more likely to try again. Well, the same is true for you, my friend. This is not what most of us were taught, however, but it is what the data consistently shows. So in one of her most striking studies, she looked at students who received a poor grade on an exam. And students who responded with self-compassion studied harder for the next exam than those who responded with self-criticism. The self-critical students were more likely to avoid thinking about the failure altogether, which of course meant they were also less likely to learn from it. So self-compassion, as counterintuitive as it feels, actually produces better outcomes. And I would argue for midlife women especially, this research matters enormously. Because a lot of the women that I work with have spent decades being the hardest taskmaster in their own lives. And they genuinely believe that if they are kinder to themselves, they're going to somehow lose their edge or become lazy or stop growing. But again, the research reminds us that this belief is costing them the very consistency that they're trying to build. So you deserve the same compassion that you so freely give to everyone in your life. And here is a practical case for why. It is the strategy that actually works. So I realize it's a practice, and if you have been out of practice with self-compassion, it's going to feel awkward. It's going to feel wildly uncomfortable at times. But the more you practice it, I would be really surprised if you didn't actually also simultaneously notice that you are enjoying the journey more. And when you enjoy the journey more, you're going to show up more often. So stop being a jerk to yourself and start extending yourself a little self-compassion. If this stirred something inside of you, imagine what a whole book of clarity and courage could ignite. The Consistency Code, a midlife woman's guide to deep health and happiness, goes even deeper into the mindset and practices that create real, meaningful change at midlife. Grab your copy today over at theconsistencycode.com and keep the momentum alive.